You ready for another chapter in our book? What would Jesus do? Claire's fear. On the valley road, Jack and Mr. Manning sat down to rest. Just then, Claire came jumping up in a cloud of dust. She said hello and sat down beside them. Then she asked, "By the way, do you know about the new picnic?" Jack answered, "Yes, we do. Miss Page let us know just moments ago." Claire spoke again. "Miss Page is asking all of us kids to give something to the poor Riddle Hill children. But I don't need to give away my jump rope, do I? Don't you think I should keep it for myself?" Mr. Manning replied gently, "Claire, have you asked, what would Jesus do?" Claire cried, "I was afraid to, and afraid to pray. I don't want to give my jump rope away. That would make me unhappy forever." Suddenly, Mr. Manning stood and shouted, "Let's go on a treasure hunt." He stepped out in front, and Jack and Claire followed behind. That was a short chapter. Treasure All Around, chapter 13. "Remember," said Mr. Manning to Claire, "my eyes are blind, so you must help me find the treasure. Now tell me, what do you see? By any chance, is there a huge blue sky above us, with a golden sun and clouds that look like cotton? Have we found it? Is it there?" "Why, yes, it's there," answered Claire. Mr. Manning continued, "And now look around us. Do beautiful things surround us? Are there fields and flowers and water and woods and rocks and bugs and birds? Is all of it there?" "Once again, all there," said Claire. They stopped by a lake. Mr. Manning and Jack took off their shoes. They splashed their feet in the water while Mr. Manning said, "Just think. Jesus gave us all this treasure. His gifts to us are everywhere. And look again, there's more. Do you see an old blind man with a girl and a boy at his side? Did you know Jesus died for them? Out of love, he gave his life for that man and boy and girl and all the people in the whole wide world." That's the story of Easter, isn't it? "Yes, Claire, Jesus gave us everything he had. So do you think he's unhappy? Right now, is he sad? Or is Jesus ever so joyfully glad? Do you see his smile in the sunshine? Can you listen to his laughter in the breeze? And when you're still, can you hear him whispering his love in your heart?" Quietly, quietly they listened to happy sounds in the world Jesus made. "Mr. Manning," whispered Claire, "I'm ready now to pray. Dear Jesus, now I can give away this beautiful birthday jump rope. I know it won't make me sad, for you're still glad, even though you gave everything. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Now I truly want to do what you would do." "You know," said Mr. Manning later, as he and Jack walked Claire home, "I know many children who would love to share a jump rope like that. These children are poor, and what's more, they're my neighbors and friends." So Claire said, "Perhaps they should have the jump rope instead of the Riddle Hill children." Mr. Manning laughed. "But they are the Riddle Hill children." "What do you mean?" asked Claire. Jack explained it. "Riddle Hill is where Mr. Manning lives, and me too." "Oh, I didn't know that," said Claire. Jack smiled. "Neither do Bill and the pastor, and just for fun, let's not tell them yet. Not until Sunday at the picnic." So the three shook hands. Everything was set. for a great surprise. So Jack and Mr. Manning are some of the poor people that live on Riddle Hill that will be going to the picnic. This chapter 14, Dollar Dan's Plan. Bill was deep in the woods the next day chasing blue jays, but he quickly stopped when he heard voices. Boys' voices. Over near a willow tree, Bill saw 3 big boys. This spot looked like their hideout. Bill wondered if he should leave, but he told himself, I'd like to hear what they're talking about. He was being very curious. Bill crept closer. He saw Bruno Miller wearing a big new hat. Dollar Dan Smith was beside him with a carving stick. And Beanie Joe Larson was looking on and talking. That new picnic at the church sounds great. Let's get there early so we don't miss any food. Forget it, Beanie Joe. I don't think we should go, Bruno said. And Dollar Dan agreed. I couldn't stand being near all those poor people from Riddle Hill. Anyway, I wish there was something more exciting around here than a picnic. I'd like to see a fight or a wreck, or better yet, a fire. Oh dear, do those sound like good boys to you? Actually, it was Beanie Joe that wanted to go to the picnic, though. He thought it sounded like fun. Guys, here's a blazing idea. Let's visit Riddle Hill. Bruno grumbled at Dan. But you just said you didn't like those people. Dan grinned. I don't, so we'll go when they're not there next Sunday afternoon while everyone is at the picnic. We'll go to Riddle Hill with matches and play a trick. Oh, should he have matches? That sounds like something could be brewing. When Bill heard those mean words, he thought again about leaving. Surely that's what Jesus would do, he told himself. But he still didn't turn to go. He stayed to hear Beanie Joe raise his voice. Start a fire on Riddle Hill? That's crazy. What if you burn down someone's home? Dan laughed. So what? Their houses are nothing but shacks, and it's just for fun. It won't hurt anyone. We'll be the only ones there. He thought it was okay because nobody would be home. I'll help you, Dan, said Bruno. Then Dollar Dan jabbed his fingers at Beanie Joe. And as for you, Beanie Joe Larson, now that you've heard my plan, you've got to come too. Beanie Joe stuttered. I'd rather go to the picnic, but I guess I'll have to go with you instead. Just then Bill's nose told him he had to sneeze. Achoo, sneezed Bill. And when he opened his eyes again, 3 big boys were staring down at him. Shall we keep reading and see what happens? Chapter 15, A Dark Warning. Dollar Dan growled at Bill. You heard our plan, didn't you? Well, don't you dare tell anyone, or else. He was being a bully, wasn't he? Or else we'll throw you down in the Valley Church storm cellar. It's dark and damp down there, and spiders and snakes live there, and that's where we'll put you if you tell anyone our plan. And this is what he's imagining. This isn't really what's in the cellar. This is what he's imagining. The boys let Bill go, and he ran away, without even thinking first, what would Jesus do? As he ran, he heard the blue jays calling, ka-cheer, ka-cheer. I'm glad you're here, Bill told them. Can they help him? He met a gray squirrel, too. What should I do? Bill said aloud, wishing the squirrel could answer. The squirrel only chattered. Then Bill spoke again. I know what I'll do. I'll go see Jack and Mr. Manning. Bill pushed through the woods and came onto the valley road. There he knew Jack and Mr. Manning would soon be walking by. But then in the trees behind him, he heard voices, boys' voices. It was those three boys, and Dollar Dan was laughing. Don't forget, it's dark down there, and spiders and snakes live there, down in the Valley Church storm cellar. And now, did Bill ask those four special words? Did he wait for his friends, Jack and Mr. Manning? Did he pray and ask Jesus to help him be brave? Would those all be good things to do? No, Bill turned toward home and ran. And that's where I'm going to leave the story for today. See you next time for chapter 16 called The Light of the World.